My gracious people. So, I gotta do this again because everybody's out rioting for Hamas. You're so close, but you're so far away. So, Hamas gets its funding from somewheres. Where do you think it is? Let's look at this in a different light. Putin, Israel, and America all go to Davos together up until recently. And I don't know, Putin may still go. Same as all the Chinese guys. All of them. They all go. And I'm sure whoever funds Hamas, whoever's the go-between for them and the money, goes there as well, right? So they all go together. They all make plans together on what they're going to do to herd you into destroying your own society in order for them to introduce a savior to create a new society. And a digital society and a controlled society. And you guys still can't see it. And then the Jewish leadership is seen around the world, much like the American leadership is seen around the world. They're an oppressive country, an oppressive government who goes around and forces their will onto other countries and destroys their economics, destroys their lifestyle, and in a lot of cases is starving them out. Look at Venezuela. Anywhere they put their green policies, right? That's your government and the Israel government in cahoots with the head families of Israel. Look up the Balfour Agreement. Look up whose signature's on it. Who signed for Israel in 1945? Whose signature, right? Was it we the people? Was it the bloodlines of this and that? No, it fucking wasn't. It's one name. So anyhow, all these people want you to riot and destroy your own and fight against each other, and they don't give a flying fuck if you kill their own Jews, their own bloodlines. They don't care as long as you're not killing them, right? So if you go kill like the people on the street, they're going to pretend to care, but technically that's exactly what they want. They want you to attack their people, kill them, get them all worked up and angry, and then get everybody worked up and angry in order to push us into our own mutually assured destruction. So we have the ability to stop this as well, right? Rather than going out and killing Jews on the streets and stuff like this, all you got to do is turn to God, turn to Jesus, number one, pray, study, show yourself approval, and also move. You'll naturally, as you do that, you're going to naturally move away from all the Satanism in our society. And you're going to look for a life and create a world and life that suits your soul. I've been doing a lot of study on power of thought, prayer, how that all works. It works, and it works somewhat. We've seen it work for people whom don't directly attribute Jesus, like the Jews or whatever, Satanists, witches. We see them using the power that is God's. You say, oh, that's demonic power. There is no such thing. Satan doesn't have power. He has a little knowledge of how to use God's power. He has more knowledge of God's power than we do, but he has no power of his own. He just has knowledge, wisdom, discernment, understanding above us that gives him an illusion of power. That's how knowledge is power. So you can take away his power and take it back to yourself by changing your thoughts. He works through fear, and God works through faith. But yeah, it's hard to explain it because the way that people understand it's blasphemous for me to say that witchcraft is God's power, but it is a power of God. And that's why when you read their books, which is Satanists, whatever, Muslims, all of them, they do live a life of, well, they break the rules constantly, but they get the fundamentals of living in a Christianic way. The Freemasons do it as well. And they actually use Jesus' name. So do the Muslims. They use Jesus' name. They use the Bible to prove the Muhammad, and then they call the Bible a liar in the very next breath in order to keep proving Muhammad. They go on about John and Peter and Paul and everybody, Mark, Luke, all testifying about Muhammad, and then say that their testimony of Jesus is they're all liars. So, well, someone's a liar, but I don't think it's the Bible. It's proved itself pretty true. And then when you look at the rest of Muhammad's teachings, where you're killing people and raping women and molesting kids, you can tell that it's not from God, not from Jesus, that's for sure. But you can manipulate the loopholes, this is the way I phrase it, in order to get yourself into a situation. The best example of that is I read a book, and it was this gentleman went around and he interviewed 20 of the world's richest men at the time who were self-made, and he wanted to be rich himself. So he went around and he wanted to meet these men and see what their secrets were and see if anything that they all did, excuse me, was the same. If they all did something that was the same, and then he could do that thing in order to get himself into that position. And what they all had done was they wrote down their dream, like where they wanted to be, and they read that to themselves every night and every morning. And in that, they programmed, set the universe, said the spells, however you want to put it, right? But it's all about or your subconscious brain. People say it that way too, right? Or your soul or your heart, that setting it up so that it works to make the life that you want by feeding it that parts of that reality, um, by knowing it is going to happen. So that's how I see that God gave us the free will. See, he put his power on the earth and gave us ways to live by it and and to live in it. Sorry, um, and but he needed to give us free will, so he just told us about it, left it here, but he can't really, or he, not that he can't, he won't force it on anybody. He'll shine it on you. You know, he'll protect you. He'll send angels down and have them in your life, setting things up. He'll bring people into your life that'll also set things up um, through that power. But it's all natural. All that happens without his direct manipulation. He made the power in such a way that it works itself, the Holy Ghost. And um, so you can um, get really close to it. It's like a bonfire where you can either sit right up against it and feel that warm hot and get that nice light all around you, or you can sit, 10 feet back and have some of that light and have a little bit of that heat, you know. But that's why witches, none of them they do can affect a Christian, a real Christian that walks in real faith, because they're way back there. Like you can't burn me. I can grab the stick right out of the fire and poke it at you, or whatever, right? Like the fire is, I'm closer to that power, to that heat. So your little bit of heat can't affect me. Uh, but my huge heat can affect you, right? If I go back there and give you a hug, my coat's warm, my chest is warm, my whole face, my legs, everything's not just body heat warm, it's extra hot because of the fire heating up all my clothes. And then I go back there and give you a hug, I can take that heat with me and then come back to it. You can't. You're way back there somewhere. So that little bit of heat that you're getting isn't enough to spread around. It's just enough to keep you a little warm, and you're not going to trip because you can see a little bit. But you could eat, well, you're not going to trip as much. You're going to be able to walk around a little. You're just going to have to be real cautious about how you walk every step. I need to be cautious about how I walk too, but I mean, my mind, body, heart, strength, everything is pushing for God. So it's just natural for me to walk that walk. If you understand that, I don't know. But um but for that person back there, they're not going to see the shadows very well and things on the ground. If there's roots or stumps or rocks, they could easily roll their ankle or fall over or trip. Whereas I can walk around the fire and I'm fine. And like I said, I can take some of the heat with me. Well, I can also grab a stick out of there and take that with me for light, and have the walk to the bathroom and come back and put it back in the fire and sit myself back down. I have a lot more utilization of it. And I don't need to manipulate it with roots and things and spells and all, or not minor spells. I manipulate it through the prayers that I say. And when I think about God or spend time with Him, that's a form of praying, because God is in our mind, He's in our heart, He's in our thoughts, and He knows them. So He knows when He's in there. If that makes sense to Christians, I'm sure. So when you're meditating of Him all the time, that just nothing can touch you, because you're right in the center of His light. You're basically standing in the fire now at this point, and it, you know, though you don't want to get too close, because it's the same as God. That's why He always comes in a cloud. Just looking at Him, it'll burn you. Well, same goes for the fire. Don't get too close. But um, but yeah, you can snuggle right up to it. So yeah, I think that's not anything about anything I wanted to talk about, because I was talking about Israel. That's my point. And well, and how fooled everybody is. Hamas, there's the Israel thing with America and Israel. Um, Even if Hamas didn't go to the meetings, right? Like none of the actual fighters or the people, just there's, some guy, weapons guy, who goes there, and he gets his marching orders to make sure that he makes Hamas have weapons. And then Israel takes their marching orders to oppress Palestine and push as many people into Hamas as possible and corner them all, and basically, you know, you're cornering the lion, and eventually it's going to just jump out and attack you or something, right? Anything you corner, rat, weasel, any wild animal, it's going to take its chance of getting away, right? So it's going to attack at some point, and that's their thing. They just pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed, and now all you guys are so confused because you see what Israel and America is doing to the world, and you want to stand up against your own government, and you see these people standing up against this evil government and this evil force, and you're thinking, oh, okay, I got to back them up because they're standing against the greater evil in the world. But they're just another evil in the world, just a lesser controlled evil, in order to create the illusion to you that the world's overrun with evil, right? And to get you to get excited about it, and get in an uproar yourselves, bringing that conflict home. And that's all biblical. So that's wonderful, really. It just means we're one step closer to 1,000 years of peace on earth, and to the real goal. So I think that's it. God bless you. Have a good day. Like and subscribe. Remember to pray, and always think about that 1,000 years coming up around the corner. Everything's going to get bright and sunny. We just got to get the right mindset across the board, not be getting in all worked up over two terrorists fighting, two Satanists fighting for us. We need to buckle up and fight Satan ourselves. And how you do that is you wake people, and you come out of that system. Get rid of your TV, get rid of radio, turn it off. Don't turn that on in your car. Don't listen to that shit. All that music, all those movies, all that fast food crap, just step away from it all. as much as you possibly can. Booze, especially, it's horrible for you, horrible for your brain. You're not going to be able to study right. Um, Eating pot and stuff. Try to minimalize as much the incense that you burn, and just stay close to God.